In the heart of America's cities, where the promises of prosperity and safety often ring hollow, a crisis unfolds that starkly contrasts with the nation's self-proclaimed status as the world's greatest superpower. Here, in urban black communities, a cycle of violence and neglect perpetuates a grim reality, a phenomenon of a multi-billion-dollar defense budget and a glaring disparity in resource allocation. Let's explore the cycle of spiritual warfare intensified by hip-hop culture, the paradox of American intervention abroad versus domestic neglect, and the urgent question of who will safeguard these vulnerable communities. At the forefront of this crisis is the persistent cycle of violence that afflicts many urban black neighborhoods. This cycle is not merely a series of isolated incidents, but a deeply ingrained pattern of socio-economic and cultural strife. Hip-hop, a powerful voice for many in these communities, often reflects and amplifies the harsh realities faced by its artists and their audiences. While it serves as a form of expression and resistance, it also frequently underscores the violence and struggle that pervade daily life. The music's raw portrayal of hardship, though a legitimate form of artistic and personal expression, sometimes reinforces a cycle of aggression and despair rather than offering solutions. Compounding this issue is the stark contrast between America's ability to deploy vast resources to stabilize foreign nations and its apparent inability to address this pervasive issue that we have at home. The United States prides itself on its global leadership and military prowess, intervening in conflicts around the world with considerable financial and strategic investment. Yet, when it comes to addressing the systematic issues in our own urban centers, such as chronic gun violence and inadequate public services, the response has often been inadequate and disjointed. Consider the defense budget, which dwarfs funds allocated to domestic social programs. The disparity is glaring. For instance, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, a city that mirrors the struggles of many similar communities, a public housing area's closest school remains abandoned. While billions are spent on military endeavors, the imbalance is not only a fiscal issue, but also a moral one. It raises profound questions about priorities and the perceived value of human life and potential within marginalized communities. The lack of resources in these neighborhoods leads to a critical gap in support systems. Schools, which should be beacons of hope and opportunity, are often underfunded or neglected. Community programs that could provide positive outlets for youth are frequently under-resourced or absent. As a result, the cycle of violence continues, with little intervention or support from local authorities, who are often stretched thin or unresponsive. This brings us to a crucial question. What can we do? If our rich and wealthy government, politicians, and supposed leaders are unable or unwilling to address the needs of underdeveloped communities, those sectioned off by redlining policies and historical neglect, then who will step in to protect the vulnerable, especially the children, from the relentless tide of gun violence? If we can muster the resources and personnel to address issues overseas, surely we can find a way to invest in and improve our own communities. The challenge is multifaceted. It requires a reevaluation of priorities and a commitment to genuine reform. Investing in education, improving community resources, and ensuring effective and equitable policing are essential steps. It also demands a collective effort from all sectors of society, government, private sector, and civil organizations to create sustainable solutions and address the root causes of violence and neglect. In conclusion, while America's global actions are often lauded, the nation's failure to adequately address the crises within its own borders reveals a troubling disconnect. The cycle of violence in urban black communities is a symptom of deeper systematic issues that need urgent attention. It is time to shift the focus and resources towards building and supporting these communities. The question remains, will we rise to the challenge and provide the protection and support that these communities so desperately need?